Welcome to Standard Voice News Channel. I am Samira Ibrahim. Here are your top stories for today. Northern governors and security heads meet over banditry and insecurity in the region. COVID-19 cases in Nigeria now 21,371. Police sealed off APC headquarters in Abuja on business. Set other September deadline for new rules on mutual fund. And on the international scene, Ghana president called President Muhammadu Buhari to apologize over demolition of Nigerian mission. Now the news in details. Governors of the 19 northern states on Tuesday met with the head of security agencies led by the National Security Advisor on how to successfully tackle banditry and insurgency in the region. Service chiefs and head of intelligence agencies also met to map out new strategies to end incessant killings. Zamfara State Governor Bello Matawalle, whose state has been hard hit by banditry, briefed the Chief of Staff to the President, Professor Ibrahim Gambari. He told reporters that he was there to see the Chief of Staff because of the issue of security that is bedeviling Zamfara State. He said they have discussed extensively on the issue of insecurity in the northern Nigeria, not just Zamfara State. Northern governors met in the National Security Advisor's office with the Inspector General of Police and other security agencies, where they discussed seriously on the issue of insecurity, and the Chief of Staff invited the Zamfara State Governor to brief him about insecurity in the state. Zamfara State government and the security are doing their best to control the spread of insecurity in the state. There are some repentant bandits that have already subscribed to the peace initiative, and the government is using them, while those that have refused to dialogue will face the full wrath of the law. Director of Defense Media Operations Coordinator Major General John Eneche, in a statement, said the service chiefs meeting was to develop new strategies to address terrorism, banditry, and other criminalities, particularly in the north. The Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Abubakar Sadiq, on Tuesday in Katsina, said the air interdiction component of the Nigerian Air Force destroyed 10 bandit camps in the last 3 days. Now to Sudan, where Zamfara State students recently sponsored by Governor Bello Matawalle's led administration to study in that country were evicted by their landlords due to non-payment of rent.
Kuma kamar yadda mun ka gani dai ga mu dai mutane na ta tahiya ba wanda ya san inda za ya kasancewa gari dai ba namu bane kuma ba mu san kowa ba ba mu san kuma ko ina ba in ba nan inda aka sauke mu ba, so amma tunda mai gida ya riga ya hito da mu ba yanda za mu yi, dole za mu ban mishi bakin gidan shi, to kuma ba mu san ina za mu je ba.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi. Wannan kungiyar ɗaliban da gwamnatin jihar Zamfara ta ɗauki nauyin karatu su ne a ƙasar Sudan. A hali yanzu haka duk rubuce-rubuce da saƙonni da aka gani ga kawayen yatsa labarai na Facebook da sauransu, duka waɗannan rubuce-rubucen da aka yi gaskiya ne, kuma wannan shine gaskiya halin da muke ciki. Ɗalibai ku ne waɗanda na yi wannan rubutun, ku ne waɗanda na yi wannan rubutun, ku bani huskokinku, ku ne da yawa daga cikinsu akwai waɗanda ba a ma gama registration karatun da suke ciki ba a yi musu ba. Malam Ibrahim, za ka ba mu bayanan ya abubuwan suke ya suka kasance?
Kwarai da gaske, sanin kowa ne, ba wanda ka iya bayanin yanayin da mutum yake ciki muddin ba yana tare da shi ba. So kuma mun kai korafe-korafe zuwa ga board waɗanda suke da alhakin sanar da gwamnati halin da muke ciki don tunanin ɗaukan mataki, so amma ba mu ga mataki wanda aka ɗauka ba, shi yasa muka yanke wannan domin gwamna ya san yanayin da muke ciki.
Meanwhile, Zamfara State government has declared as unfounded the allegation by some foreign students in Sudan that they have been evicted from their residential apartment due to non-payment of the house rent by the government. Special Advisor to Governor Matawale on Student Matters and Scholarship, Comrade Lukman Bisalla Majidadi, made the declaration in an interview with newsmen in Gusau on Tuesday. He noted that, to the best of his knowledge, the state government has paid complete annual house rent to all its students studying in Sudan, as well as paid their annual tuition fees to the university. He said, besides these giant steps, the government has sustained the monthly payment of $100 to each of its students in Sudan as monthly allowances. He said he has called the state government agent in Sudan to confirm the true picture of the situation, and he confirmed that there is nothing like eviction of Zamfara State students from any of its rented apartments. Comrade Bisalla Majidadi explained further that the government is fully aware that some politicians are behind the plans to instigate the students to embark on the protests for their selfish political reasons. He noted that it was unfortunate that some parents went to the extent of returning their children back to Nigeria in the name of coronavirus without consulting the government, and some parents now want the government to be paying the monthly allowances of $100 to their children even while they are at home. Comrade Majidadi therefore called on the parents whose children are currently in Sudan not to panic. Hence, the state government is doing everything possible to ensure the welfare and well-being of their children. The Zamfara State chapter of the Medical and Dental Consultants of Nigeria, MDCAN, has called on security agencies to gear up to protect the lives of its members as they struggle hard to save the lives of citizens. In a communique jointly signed by the chairman and secretary of the state branch of MDCAN, Dr. Umar Abdullahi and Dr. Tume Alfred, respectively, issued at the end of an emergency meeting held by the MDCAN over the ghastly murder of its member at Mariri area of Gusau, the state capital, Dr. Enoch Opara. It also condemned in totality the murder of Dr. Opara, describing him as a great consultant gynecologist whose loss will create a formidable lacuna to the medical profession, thereby calling on the security agencies, especially the police, to expedite its investigation with a view to bringing the perpetrators to book. The communique further warned that only that the perpetrators were unveiled by the security agencies, that the MDCAN will further reassure its members and other citizens in the state of the safety of lives and properties. The slain Dr. Opara was, until his death, a dedicated medical doctor in the services of humanity who served as a senior consultant and gynecologist with the Federal Medical Center, Gusau. Chief of Air Staff Sadiq Abubakar says Nigerian Air Force NAF has destroyed 10 bandit camps in 4 states in the northwest zone in the ongoing Operation Wutar Daji. Mr. Abubakar, an air marshal, disclosed this on Tuesday in Katsina when he inspected the operations, which had been on for the last 1 month. He explained that NAP destroyed 10 aircraft with dozens of special forces for the operations. The air chief stated that in the course of air surveillance, the force identified and bombed several armed bandit camps across 4 states. He said the states include Katsina, Zamfara, Kaduna and Kebbi in the northwest zone where the operation is ongoing. Mr. Abubakar said 10 jets were used in the operations where the hideout of the armed bandit terrorizing communities in Rugu, Kuyambana, Birnin Gwari and Sadao forest within the zone were destroyed. He said the aerial surveillance team spotted several targets in the forest and bombed the places and neutralized dozens of armed bandits. It must be noted that the operation is ongoing and NAF will not rest on its oars until it identifies every bandit's camp in the forest and destroy them. The Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, has announced that the record of COVID-19 cases in Nigeria has risen to 21,371. 452 new cases were recorded on Tuesday night. The center made this known via its Twitter handle. The new cases per state shows that Lagos State has 209, Oyo 67, Delta 37, Ogun 36, FCT 22, Abia 20, Enugu 16, Bauchi 15, Kaduna and Ondo 8 each, Oshun 7, Imo and Benue 3 each, and Borno 1. In total, there are now 21,371 cases of COVID-19 in Nigeria, with 7,338 patients discharged and 533 deaths recorded. The Minister of State for Education, Mr. Chukwuemeka Nwajioba, on Tuesday presented to the National Assembly a proposed date for the reopening of schools across the country as post-COVID-19 measure. He made the presentation during a meeting with the Senate Committee on Basic and Secondary Education on the ministry's plans for pupils who have been forced to stay at home following the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic. While noting that government has said that schools for some categories of students will be reopened soon, Mr. Chukwuemeka said that giving a tentative date will result to misrepresentation by the public. He said they were going to experiment with some people, and these are children from exit classes. In the presentation they have provided, they have suggested how they can now move the education sector forward in this pandemic period. He said they don't want to make it known at this period so that some people will not take the proposal for guidelines for schools reopening. Embattled factional national chairman of the All Progressives Congress APC, Mr. Victor Gyodom, has summoned a virtual meeting of the National Executive Council (NEC). In a statement issued on Tuesday, June 23rd, said he called upon the meeting with the consent of President Muhammadu Buhari. Mr. Gyodom stated that the NEC meeting of the party is scheduled for Thursday, June 25th, and will take place at the State House, Abuja. The Nigerian Police Force has sealed the National Secretariat of the All Progressives Congress APC in Abuja on the orders of the Inspector General of Police, Muhammad Adamu. According to information gathered by newsmen, the sealed-off was aimed at ensuring peace across the Secretariat. Members of the National Working Committee showed up at the party Secretariat, were prevented from gaining access to the party house, while members of staff and journalists were allowed to walk in without their cars. This development comes as the party's leadership has been divided over who takes over as the acting national chairman following the suspension of the national chairman, Comrade Adams Oshomole. The party's National Working Committee had affirmed former Oyo State Governor Abiola Ajimobi as the acting national chairman. However, due to Mr. Ajimobi's unavoidable absence, the National Working Committee appointed the National Vice Chairman, South-South, Hilliard Etta, to act on his behalf. Meanwhile, the APC Deputy National Secretary, Mr. Victor Gyodom, also declared himself as the acting national chairman on the strength of the Federal Capital Territory FCT High Court order obtained on March 16th. Meanwhile, the embattled national chairman, Oshomole, says he has accepted the verdict of the Court of Appeal, which upheld his suspension. He noted that his next line of action will be determined by his lawyers. He thanked their lordships. They have given their judgment. In our democracy, the court is an independent arm of government. A High Court of Justice in Edo State, Ipoma, has restrained the People's Democratic Party (PDP) from excluding Governor Godwin Obaseki and other cleared aspirants from participating in the Edo State governorship primary. The court ordered that the PDP and the electoral umpire should not exclude any of the aspirants who have been cleared by the party from participating in the gubernatorial primary, which is scheduled on 25th June 2020. Governor Godwin Obaseki can now participate in the gubernatorial primary with this decision given by the court. The West African Examinations Council (WAEC) has opened registration for the West African Senior School Certificate Examination for Private Candidates 2020 second series, with a note to candidates to check the examination terms list before registering. According to the advert for the examination signed by Council's Head of National Office, Mr. Patrick Arehan, 36 subjects will be examined during the examination, which does not have a fixed date yet because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Usually, the examination holds between August and October every year. However, Rehan wants interested candidates to find out if their preferred location will be listed as examination towns, as only urban centers will be used for the examination. The examination will be urban-based and will be conducted at a period to be announced in due course. 36 subjects will be available for examination. Intending candidates are advised to visit the Council's corporate website to confirm available examination towns and subjects before obtaining the registration pin. The embattled Deputy Governor of Ondo State, Ebola Ajayi, has alleged that Governor Olarotimi Akeredolu plans to impeach him. Mr. Ajayi accused the governor of giving out 10 million naira each to influence lawmakers to meet the requirement of two-thirds majority to impeach him. Recalled that the deputy governor and the governor have been at loggerheads, which have led the deputy governor to join the PDP. Also, the deputy governor had insisted that he won't resign from the office since the people who elected him have not asked him to vacate the office. However, the governor had denied this allegation in a statement issued by the State Commissioner of Information, Donald Ojogo, who stated that the allegation was not true. He said, "This is the height of perfidy, another pernicious warp from an intellectual challenge and strenuous personality. Knowledge cannot be procured, but only be acquired, and for anyone to avert that lawmakers have been financially induced is a gross display of emptiness." On business, Nigeria's apex capital market regulator, Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC), has set a deadline of September 30th for compliance with new rules on collective investment scheme (CIS). SEC had in December 2019 issued rules on CIS, otherwise known as mutual fund, to strengthen effective management of the portfolios. According to SEC, all funds managers of collective investment schemes are required to comply with the provisions of the new rules and file evidence of compliance on or before September 30th, 2020. The Commission stated that the application of the new total expense ratio and incentive fee computation takes effect from the beginning of July 2020. Incentive fees should not be factored into total expense ratio computation and shall be accessible and payable on the annual basis. SEC also requested the Fund Managers Association of Nigeria (FMAN) to submit acceptable benchmarks for money markets funds, balance funds and ethical funds at the beginning of each year, commencing third quarter of the year. And on the international scene, President Nana Akufo-Addo of Ghana has called President Muhammadu Buhari over the demolition of the Nigerian High Commission in Accra. In a telephone conversation on Tuesday, President Akufo-Addo expressed his sincere apology over the unfortunate incident that has sparked reactions from the Nigerian government. This was confirmed in a statement issued by the Senior Special Assistant to the President, Malam Garba Shehu. The Ghana leader assured President Muhammadu Buhari that he has directed a full investigation into the matter, assuring that justice will be served. Meanwhile, some suspects linked to the demolition have been arrested and will be arraigned in court. It could be recalled that a businessman who claimed the ownership of the land housing the Nigerian mission reportedly moved with security personnel to demolish some portion of the staff quarters. Following the incident, many Nigerians, including the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Geoffrey Onyema, and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Bajabiamila, have condemned the action. That has been the news from Standard Voice Television. To end the news, a quick look at the major headlines. Northern governors and security heads meet over banditry and insecurity in the region. COVID-19 cases in Nigeria now 21,371. Police sealed off APC headquarters in Abuja. On business, SEC orders September deadline for new rules on mutual fund. And on the international scene, Ghana President called President Muhammadu Buhari to apologize over demolition of Nigerian mission. That's the news. On behalf of the production crew, Head of News and Current Affairs Department, Ibrahim Garbatunau, I am Samira Ibrahim, wishing you a pleasant day. Keep watching Standard Voice Television News. Goodbye.